I'm Attorney Nick Alcock here in Arizona. We've been following the story involving pepper spray in Walmart, and apparently a shopper in Walmart used pepper spray to clear out an aisle so that she could get to the best deals and the best bargains. That's the allegation. We don't know that for sure. And I was looking at some articles that are talking about how the police were concerned that she might use self-defense as a defense, and as a consequence they wouldn't be able to get a conviction, because it's very hard to prove. This is a very dynamic situation involving a bunch of shoppers. Everybody's clamoring for the best deals. Everyone's trying to get into this Walmart, and essentially it's almost a riot scene. So in Arizona, self-defense can only be used in a number of circumstances, and it's pretty limited. It's limited to whether or not a reasonable person would be justified in using physical force that is immediately necessary. That's Arizona Revised Statute 13404. So it has to be immediate, it has to be necessary, and it can't be just based on what is going on with the person who's using the force. It has to be the standard of a reasonable person. Would a reasonable person who is in the same situation as the individual who used the force, would that person feel that it's absolutely immediately necessary, and is the amount of force used justified? So in this instance, let's say the woman is being trampled, and we hear of cases involving shoppers that are completely out of control and someone gets trampled. Obviously that person is in fear of their life, and they could use force that would be immediately necessary to protect themselves. The force has to be definitely graded to the threat. So in a situation where there's a riot and there's some tussling and some elbows being thrown, deadly force wouldn't be necessary. 13405 allows deadly force if the force that is being used or threatened against the person is deadly. So it's a very dynamic situation in a riot. You don't really know exactly what's going to happen. You don't know when force becomes deadly. The other complicating factor is that if a third party or innocent party is injured, then you can't use justification. You can't use self-defense. So someone who used pepper spray and sprayed the face of someone who just happened to be standing nearby, that person is an innocent third party. You can't use self-defense in that instance, saying, well, I was afraid of my life, and so I recklessly used my pepper spray. I sprayed an innocent person. If a jury believed that the pepper spray was used recklessly and it wasn't used with the proper care, then you can't use self-defense if an innocent third party is injured. My take is that if the witnesses come forward and say that the woman wasn't in immediate danger, and if there wasn't a situation where she absolutely had to use pepper spray and there was no other course of conduct that she could engage in, my guess is that she's going to wind up being charged with something. So again, in Arizona, if you're facing a situation involving physical force assault and you're looking at self-defense, mainly what a jury and a judge would consider would be whether or not the force is immediately necessary, whether or not a reasonable person would use that force, and whether or not that force was tailored to the situation. So if it was a non-life-threatening situation, then that was the type of force that was used in self-defense. If it was a case involving possible death, possible serious injury, deadly force being used, then deadly force can be used. Complicating factor is whether or not a third party is injured. If you have any questions whatsoever about self-defense in Arizona, go ahead and give us a call. 602-989-5000 is our number. 602-989-5000. My name is Nick Alcock. I'm the owner of Alcock & Associates, and thanks so much.